The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, has decided to pause its series of tightening measures. On Friday, April 14th, MAS left its monetary policy unchanged, describing its current stance as appropriate for securing medium-term price stability, while noting the risk of a potential slowdown in Singapore's economy amid higher risks to global growth. Singapore is heavily dependent on imports, particularly for daily necessities like food, as it lacks its own resources. The only lever of Singapore's monetary policy is the nominal effective exchange rate, NEER. Tightening the monetary policy through the NEER would result in a stronger Singapore dollar, which helps control inflation passed on to imports. Despite the stability in politics and governance, relying on a consistently stronger Singapore dollar is not a viable long-term solution for the country's economy, given its reliance on trade and sensitivity to exchange rate fluctuations. A consistently stronger Singapore dollar can lead to weakened external demand for manufacturing, particularly in semiconductor industry. This is because a stronger Singapore dollar makes exports more expensive and hence less competitive. This, in turn, can lead to a low export rate and compound the weakness in exports. The impact of weakened global demand is a contributing factor to this situation. The weakened global demand, combined with a stronger Singapore dollar, can lead to lower export rates, which in turn can weigh on the domestic labor market through weaker employment. The pause on tightening monetary policy appears to be a response to the anticipated slowdown in Singapore's economy amid lower global external demand and rising inflation in production. This decision marks the first time in over a year that the MAS is standing pat on monetary policy, after making 5 consecutive tightening moves since October 2021, focusing on taming inflation. Singapore's economists have also highlighted that the tightening cycle of Singapore's central bank has come to an end as it considers growing risks confronting the economy. Singapore's economy is already showing signs of hitting the brakes, with advance estimates for the first quarter of 2023 indicating that year-on-year growth stood at 0.1%, a sharp slowdown from 2.1% in the preceding quarter. Experts suggest that this slowdown could possibly be due to concerns on Singapore's growth prospects this year taking priority. Since the reopening of borders after the pandemic, Singapore's general inflation rate has been lower than that of other economies in the region due to its monetary policy since 2021. However, with the pause on tightening policy, the impact will be felt more directly by locals. There is a possibility of inflation rising, particularly for daily necessities, which may become more expensive as the currency does not rise. This may lead to imported inflation that is harder to control than in previous years. Moreover, there is a concern that this may not stop attracting more foreign affluent migrants and high-net-worth individuals shifting their assets to the island state, as we have seen since the reopening of borders in 2022. This may introduce new dynamics towards Singapore's economy, and the impact of this trend is yet to be seen. Overall, the decision to pause tightening policy raises questions about the impact on Singapore's economy. Is it facing higher inflation risk or recessionary risk?